Hey everyone, I'm Eric Marquette, and welcome to the podcast. Today we're starting strong with amateur radio. Let's bust the myth right now. You don't need a ton of expensive gear or a giant antenna in your backyard to get on the air. If you've got the curiosity, I promise ham radio is way more accessible than you might think. Now let's kick things off by understanding the basics, all right? So, what is amateur radio? Think of it like this. At its core, it's a way for people to communicate over the airwaves. But instead of relying on the internet or your phone network, amateur radio lets you use your very own equipment to send and receive signals. It's like having a personal key to unlock a whole world of conversations, events, and even emergencies. Pretty cool, right? Now, you're going to hear some key terms thrown around a lot. Transmitter, receiver, and transceiver. They sound kind of fancy, but let me break it down for you. Imagine you're talking to a friend across the room. You're the transmitter. Your mouth is literally sending out sound waves. Your friend's ears? Boom, that's the receiver. They're picking up those sound waves. In the radio world, a transmitter sends out radio signals instead of sound, and a receiver takes those invisible signals and changes them back into something you can hear, like someone's voice. Simple enough, right? But here's the thing. Most radios today combine the transmitter and the receiver into one device called a transceiver. It's like killing two birds with one stone. Talk and listen from the same gadget. Easy peasy. When I was a teenager, I still remember using my first transceiver to make contact with another operator. It wasn't a big, flashy setup, just a simple handheld radio, really basic. But man, it felt like magic. I mean, think about it. I was literally talking to someone miles away using nothing but this little box and an antenna. That moment, it totally got me hooked. Now, here's the big takeaway. You don't need to be a tech wizard or have a super fancy setup to get started. A simple, affordable radio can get your voice on the air, and you can build up from there as you learn. Trust me, the journey from a basic radio to a full-fledged station is all part of the fun. Alright, now let's dive into what makes a ham radio setup tick. It's time to meet one of the stars of the show, your antenna. Think of it as the voice and the ears of your radio. Without it, well, your radio's just going to sit there. More like a big paperweight, honestly. Now, here's how it works. An antenna takes the energy your radio produces, like the messages you're trying to send out, and launches it as invisible radio waves into the air. At the same time, it's picking up incoming signals from other radios. So really, it's your gateway to the world over the airwaves. Here's something pretty cool. Even if you've got a lower power radio, having a good antenna can totally boost your range. It's kind of like yelling through a megaphone. The megaphone doesn't give you more power. It just focuses the energy better, so others can hear you further away. The right antenna can make a weak signal sound loud and clear. Now, when you're first starting out, you might be choosing between two types of radios. Handhelds, called HTs, and base stations. Let's compare. Starting with HTs, they're basically rugged little walkie-talkies. Super portable, battery-powered, and ideal for beginners. And the price, you can get a decent one for as little as $25. That's less than the cost of a good meal out these days. But what about the downside? Well, HTs are great for local communication over shorter distances, but they lack the raw power of base stations. Base stations, on the other hand, are like the big leagues. They're larger, can transmit much farther, and usually require a permanent setup with power supplies and outdoor antennas. The catch? They're not as portable, and they usually cost a bit more up front. Now, speaking of handheld radios, let me tell you about a pretty awesome one, the Yaesu FT5DR. If you're looking to invest in something a bit higher end, this thing is a powerhouse. First off, it's dual band, meaning it works on two primary technician license frequencies, VHF and UHF. But here's the real kicker. It actually lets you listen to two different frequencies at the same time. Like, you could monitor a local repeater on one band and chat with a friend on another. Pretty slick, right? It also has this crazy wide-range receiver that goes beyond just ham radio bands. You can tune into weather radios, air traffic control, even public safety frequencies. It's like having a scanner built right in. And for the tech fans out there, the dual LED indicators might seem small, but they're super handy, quickly letting you know which band is active. It's all about convenience. So, why am I geeking out about a specific radio? Well, when you have tools designed with versatility and practicality in mind, it makes the hobby even more fun and accessible. especially when you're just getting your feet wet. Whether you go for something basic or splurge on a cool gadget like the FT5DR, the important thing is to start somewhere. Let your gear grow with you. All right, let's get into the next big piece of the puzzle, how we're going to keep your radio powered and ready to go. Whether you're at home or out exploring, having the right power setup is essential. And young operators like you'll probably want to be on the move, right? So, there are two basic ways to power your radio: through batteries or a home power supply. If you're in your Radio Shack at home, you'd use a power supply plugged into the wall. It converts the electricity from your house into something your radio can use. Simple enough. But if you're out and about, like hiking or, I don't know, maybe at a park, a good battery setup is going to be your best friend. Handheld radios, or HTs as we call them, usually have rechargeable batteries, and that makes it super easy to stay mobile. Now, here's a pro tip. Always check the voltage requirements for your radio. You wouldn't want to fry it, right? Also, carrying a spare battery or power bank? Absolute lifesaver. Trust me, nothing's worse than discovering your radio's dead when you're mid-adventure. Okay, let's move on to the part you've probably been waiting for: making your first contact. This is where the real fun begins. Picture this. You've got your shiny new HT radio tuned to the right frequency, and bam! You're chatting with someone miles away as if they're standing right next to you. It's so cool. First thing, though, you'll need to learn some operating basics. Start with local repeater frequencies. These are like big signal boosters that help your little handheld radio reach farther. They're a great way to get comfortable because, well, there's usually someone listening and ready to chat. It's a supportive community out there, I promise. And hey, speaking of community, let's talk about a great example. There's this local teen group I heard about. They set up a ham radio station during a community safety event. And get this, all they used were affordable handheld radios. They spread out across the venue, staying in touch to coordinate everything from setup plans to first aid stations. The ability to communicate so efficiently? It blew people away. Plus, it showed everyone you don't need a fancy setup to make an impact. Pretty inspiring, right? So, if you're wondering how to get involved, this is how you do it. Grab an HT, jump on a local repeater, and start introducing yourself. That little handheld device is your ticket to meeting new people, learning the ropes, and building your skills. And the best part? The more you practice, the better you'll get, and before long, you'll be guiding others just like you into the world of ham radio. And that wraps up today's episode. You've got your basics down: antennas, radios, power options, and now you're ready to get on the air. Remember, it's all about starting small and growing as you go. And hey, don't be afraid to make mistakes. The airwaves are a learning ground. Thanks for hanging out with me today on Ham Radio Hype. If you're as excited as I am, be sure to check out the links in the show notes for beginner-friendly gear and tips. And hey, until next time, keep those radios tuned and your curiosity alive. This is Eric Marquette signing off. 73, everyone.